Hey, you listen to Spiritual North. Thanks for tuning in. This is another Google Alert Flat Earth rundown. A couple of new things popping off, and I just want to walk through them, shed a little bit of light on the issue. Um, so let's dive in. So apparently, a TV station in Russia put out a episode uh, about why the Earth is flat, or at least why it may be, and got a ton of flack. I watched it today. I thought it was excellent. It cited a couple of American researchers. Dave Murphy was in there, Matt Boylan, otherwise known as Math Powerland. Let's just take a small peek at that. Here it is. Fallout over flat Earth theory hits Russia's Emmy TV awards. What would a flat Earth article be without a great fake picture of the curve of the Earth? What always interests me about these photos is where the fuck are the stars? And the answer is they were blacked out so that you could create this curve, this impression of a curve. If you haven't listened to one of my videos before, they're heavily opinionated. You know, my more research-based stuff that you can find in Flatlandia is a book I wrote. Now I'm just more, I just like to share my opinion, and people that like that can come along. Let's take a look at this article real quick. The Emmy Awards stirred controversy last month with politically charged speeches and comedy routines, many targeting U.S. President Donald Trump. In Russia, meanwhile, that country's analogous awards show has triggered ridicule and outrage after its trophy for Best Educational Program was handed to the host of a recent show giving credence to the theory that the Earth is flat. Oh yeah. Igor Prokopenko, a television host with the national REN TV network, accepted the honor at the October 3rd TEFI Awards. I'm going to call it TEFI from now on. Ceremony in Moscow for his show Military Secrets. But it was another of his productions, The Most Shocking Hypothesis, that was the name of the production, The Most Shocking Hypothesis, that prompted widespread mockery and hand-wringing. No doubt in a world of somnambulists. Let's take a look at why. That program's episode last week, titled, But the Earth is Flat, delivered a 45-minute exploration of the flat Earth theory, featuring dramatic music and interviews with purported experts purveying the preposterous claim. Here is the episode. As I said, I watched it today. It's in Russian, so you hit the little options button and you do auto-translate to English, and you can watch the whole thing through with closed captioning. So what is the actual truth, the narrator asks at the end of the program. The program itself was widely lampooned after it aired. It seems that there has never been fake news like this. Spoiler, the Earth is round. If you watched my update about a month ago, you'll note that round is always the operative word that is chosen when they mean to say sphere, for the Earth could very well be level and round, like frisbees or pizzas or plates or a myriad of other disc-shaped objects. Or it could be an infinite plane. We don't fucking know. The Russian, I'm partial to the disk model because I think it has more corroborated references, but it's still an opinion. The Russian news portal Meduza wrote on Facebook, so they're calling this fake news, but the criticism of what many suggested was evidence of Russia's intellectual degradation, intensified after Prokopenko accepted his TEFI. Well, I would actually cite this as Russia's intellectual appreciation, development, gestation, growth, enhancement. Kudos, Russia. Kudos, Prokopenko. And why don't you put that TEFI award at the top of the shelf and look at it every day and be thankful for your accomplishment. I loved your program, and I hope you make another one about Flat Earth. Political analyst and former Kremlin insider Gleb Pavlovsky noted on Facebook that the award was given on the same day that 3 U.S. scientists won the Nobel Prize in Physics for the discovery of gravitational waves. Okay, well, Way to really dig for some sort of reference that could possibly indicate that the theory of gravity is indicates a ball Earth. But that guy did his homework. A member of Russian oppositional leader Alexei Navalny's campaign team noted on Twitter that the award came one day before the 60th anniversary of the Soviet Union's launch of the world's first artificial satellite, Sputnik 1, into the Earth's orbit. "Forgive us, Sputnik 1. We've pissed everything away," the tweet said. Gotta love that. Here's that tweet. Looks pretty dope. I'm really interested in scripts that aren't English lately. I'm smoking a rolled tobacco cigarette, so I have to light it every 30 seconds because it always goes out. Another Twitter user posted an image of Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin, the first human in orbit, smiling as he holds a telephone. The caption reads, "Hi, future generation, how are you there in 2017? Are you flying to Mars?" In a subsequent image, Gagarin's smile has relaxed, and the caption reads, "Who is flat? The Earth. The Earth is flat, Yuri." You know? Go back and look at that Sputnik stuff, too. I'm not even going to waste my time. There's too much research around it already. There's definitely an incentive to get to the moon. The independent network TV Rain posted a short Facebook teaser about the news of Prokopenko, which should read, "Fucking awesome dude. It's victory. No, it's not a joke." That's right, it's not a joke. Flat Earthers have a great sense of humor, but this is like no joke funny. For his part, Prokopenko has said that his programs aren't educational in nature, but rather an attempt to give viewers a chance to exercise their constitutional right to any information, including the fantastical and humorous. Now note, he did not say including the untrue. He said including the fantastical. And I applaud his intellectual stance to defend himself by his constitutional right, because when it comes to cosmological ideation, one may have to pose a question to someone who is assaulting them with their ignorance. By what authority can you tell me what I can and cannot think? By what authority can you tell me what I can and cannot explore? It's my constitutional right to believe the Earth is flat. It's your constitutional right to believe you're on a spinning ball hurtling around a sun that's fucking 90 million miles away from you. That's your right. This is ours. And, you know, when it comes to cosmological ideation, oftentimes we do need to stand on our constitutional rights because, you know, it's like that Matrix shit. It's like, we never wake a mind after it's been too long. Like, you know, some people are hard-headed. And when you're a hard-headed dude, you're just going to, you know, slang mud at a flat earther. You're not going to listen. I'm reminded of the Walt Whitman quote, which is like, "On those whom are off his equal playing field, he remains silent." Don't talk to someone that doesn't deserve it. Choose your audience. Know your audience. And if they get real nasty, by what authority can you tell me what I can and cannot think? Am I not exercising my constitutional freedom, man? I'm a fucking artist. Accepting the award on October 3rd, he suggested his shows are aimed at boosting the ratings of educational programming. Quote, "And that's why at times the Earth is flat," he said. Gotta love that. This is actually an article. I mean, this is Russia. It's a TV station, educational TV station in Russia. Prokopenko, which now is equated with dope-ass flat earther. Prokopenko gets the #1 fucking award, which is the equivalent of, I always forget. It's Emmy, Grammy, what the fuck? It's an Emmy. It's equivalent of an Emmy. Yeah, so he said, yo, constitutional freedom, back the fuck off, and we wanted to up our ratings. Who doesn't? I mean, advertisers are going to be using Flat Earth. They already are. I mean, a myriad of, ODD did a great video the other day. I'll leave a link in the description below showing how the new Google smartphone ask questions like, the Earth is flat, and like shows a flat horizon, and then like, uses it as one of a series of examples of which better answers, proved the question to be wrong, if you will. Nonetheless, that's my point. Advertisers are using flat Earth because flat Earth gets eyeballs. Eyeballs equals attention. Attention equals profit. The Teffy Awards also face criticism for honoring state media boss and TV presenter Dmitry Kislelov for his weekly political and news analysis show Vesti Nedeli. Kislelov, who is under EU sanctions as a central figure of the government propaganda supporting the deployment of Russian forces in Ukraine, regularly delivers anti-Western pronouncements and is accused by critics of distorting facts and pushing baseless conspiracy theories. I don't know about that guy. This covering is not about that guy. I'm not here to say he's dope or not. We're here to say Prokopenko is a dope-ass flat earther. Check out his new TV show. It just won a fucking Emmy. A Russian Emmy. In an October 4 post on his website, prominent Russian journalist and television host Vladimir Posner called on the Teffy organizers to rename the award and cease handing out the trophy, which was designed by sculptor Ernst Nowitzki, who died last year. The award was, don't give the award to a flat earther. Fucking just stop. Just everyone fucking, no more awards. No more Russian Emmys. We're not having Emmys. Please don't. Please. The award was founded in 1994 by Russian Television Academy, which Posner headed at the time. Posner said in his open letter that Nizhevensky, I love my Russian, and like I just jump into it like, oh, I know this name. Nizhevensky agreed to design the trophy on the condition that its recipients are selected in a democratic vote. That means a democratic body whom selects the Russian Emmys gave the award to, and the award goes to Prokopenko, the dope-ass flat earther. Democracy, at least within this vote for this particular award. Posner said that this year's awards were not voted on in a democratic fashion and suggested a potential legal fight over the name Teffy and the trophy design if the organizers of the awards ceremony decline his request. So basically, they have to change the name of the award or this guy's going to sue him, and he's saying this wasn't a democratic vote. Well, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. It seems like all the other years it was, but all of a sudden the democratic votes for a flat earther, and peeps got beef. So, fuck yeah, Russia. It's the Cliff Notes. Let's take a look. I'm just going to kind of give you an overview of how I see this. I'll look at all of them. I'll read all the headlines. They believe the earth is flat and they're coming to carry you with a collection of conspiracy theories. I note that this is a blog, okay? I run a blog too. Doesn't mean it's bad information. Just means it's probably by one person. And, they're not getting paid. And so I opened that article. It wasn't that interesting. But, flat earthers are gathering. That seems to be veridical. The flat earth debate continues. Indiana University publishes the B.O.B. thing. B.O.B. is, trying to fucking raise $1 million. Which really, who cares if he gets the money or not? It caused another news cycle, and as we know, all news is good news, and people are still talking about flat earth. So props, B.O.B., thanks. Whether you're a government shill or a legitimate zetetic researcher, I am not here to say, I fucking love your music. Ether was dope. Fucking, what was that called? The one you did before? Educational Avatar Reality Training Habitat? Fuck yeah, dude. Shit was fire. I'm going to leave a link to both B.O.B.'s albums below. They're both free. You should check them out. See what else is going on. The B.O.B. stuff is kind of tired because we've already been through it. Well, okay, so I picked on Nat Geo Australia last time, so I'd like to pick on them again because let's be consistent here. So they covered the bunch of NASA astronauts, including Buzz Aldrin, anteed up, Scott Kelly and the bunch, anteed up to bitch at B.O.B. Hey, you guys, look at this fake picture of the Earth. Nice photographic rounding on this right edge here. That smear. No fucking stars. Whoever's listening right now, thanks, y'all. All right, so there's the website, nationalgeographic.com.au. Flat earthers are having a bit of a moment on social media. Their claims that the earth is flat rather than round, again, the choice of the word round versus sphere is tactical. By most people, it's unconscious, but it became an unconscious expression via a tactic, which is to present as little disinformation as possible. The earth could very well be round. If people want to tell you the earth is round, push them. Make them know that they're thinking it's a ball. And then you can get into why it may or may not be bullshit. Their claims that the earth is flat rather than spherical has circulated Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Now, distressingly, one of the more famous flat earthers, rapper B.O.B, has started the GoFundMe page to send a satellite into space and take photos of the earth. Again, news cycle, bitch. Nat Geo, yeah. Despite video evidence showing the earth to be curved, fake CGI, admittedly CGI video evidence from NASA, evidence, in quotes, showing the earth to be curved, he believes it will appear flat. Well, if Auguste Piccard had anything to say about it, it appeared as a flat disk with upturned edges. That was far before we were given fake pictures of its balliness. Here's that famous Bob tweet. Follow up B.O.B on Twitter at BobATL. His theory is quite bizarre considering the amount of photos that already exist of a round Earth. They mean spherical. And the majority of those photos, if not all of them, are by space agencies, and unless you become a fucking astronaut, you can't go take that picture for yourself. NASA obviously had had enough of the rapper's wild accusations and decided to end the matter and save the flat earthers some money and wasted time. Oh, thank you. The likes of Buzz Aldrin, second man on the moon, Terry Virts, NASA astronaut who has spent a considerable amount of time in the International Space Station, and Scott Kelly, another NASA astronaut, all provided proof of the Earth's curve. Here goes Terry Virts. I can save B.O.B a lot of money. The Earth is round. Again, round, not spherical. I flew around it. Nice, man. Nice, man. Look at this fucking fake satellite. No stars. CGI curve. Same story every time. Here's Scott's version. Show you the curve. Here you go, Bob ATL. One full orbit around the Earth. Maybe donate funds raised to Puerto Rico relief. Look, I'm not against sending funds to Puerto Rico. It's not a bad idea. But I'm not going to play this video because then they're going to lean on it and put their own ads on it. I don't want that. I did too. Buzz, here's Buzz, second astronaut to maybe land on the moon. I did too. It's called an orbit, the curved path of a celestial object around a star, planet, or moon. Thanks for defining an orbit, Buzz. We see the sun and moon orbit us every day as well as the planets over a series of days. Bob's retort. People usually discourage you from doing something when they have something to hide. Nat Geo's tagline, signing off. Oh well, there's just no teaching some people. And that's right. Because, what do we do when we get taught? We pay a tuition. You pay your tuition at university. Well, you're paying someone to give you knowledge. What's the opposite of paying someone else to give you knowledge? That's having your own. So in this manner, the opposite of tuition is intuition. And if more people were using their intuition, they may be able to uncover greater truths about their reality. All right, so that's Nat Geo Australia. Let's see what else is cracking. Here's a little piece about the upcoming Flat Earth Conference in North Carolina. Not really here to say it's going to be the shit or not. I am saying that it's happening. This article, I am a fan of Robbie Davidson and his brand Celebrate Truth. To each their own, not proselytizing. But he went on and talked to, he went on the Dan Gaffney Show live on Delaware 105.9. It was Robbie Davidson, a flat earth theorist and founder of flat earth activism organization Celebrate Truth. I don't know if it's activism, informational organization Celebrate Truth. Everyone's going to get together in Raleigh, North Carolina. Let's just see if I will play a snippet of this because I don't think this will be an issue. I'm just jumping in with my intuition here.
60s and 70s, they supposedly went to the moon, 240,000 miles away. The reality is, in the last almost 50 years, the furthest that man has gone is 400 miles. That's a...
Cool. So I'll leave a link below to this article if you want to listen to this whole speech Robbie gave. I'm happy with that intuitive jump in. And then he goes on to mention, there's a lot of, you've got NFL players, sports athletes, celebrities, scientists, all coming out in support of this, and that's true. And then he says, hey man, I would almost rather it be a ball so I could stop this shit and go back to doing regular things and, stop being perceived as a kooky, out there conspiracy theorist. And the trouble is that the more you go into this, the more conviction you attain by virtue of evidence and or a lack of evidence to what might be the contrary epistemology or cosmology, which in this case is heliocentrism. Anyway, it's going to be November 9th and 10th in Raleigh, North Carolina. Should be quite a freak fest. You guys might want to check that out. All right, we got another athlete. Looks like another athlete popped. CBS Sports covers Lions Darius Slay. So we got another woke one here. Let's check out cbssports.com. Lions Darius Slay believes the earth is flat just like Sammy Watkins, Kyrie Irving. If new Celtics point guard Kyrie Irving wants to walk over the... Scheiße. If new Celtics point guard Kyrie Irving... That's why I don't like going to these fucking mainstream websites, because they autoplay videos and pop-up ads, and they just jam up your browser. It's bullshit. But nonetheless, it speaks to the credibility that is now being attributed to people whom have... I would argue, awoke to the true cosmology of this realm, and as such, believe in flat Earth. So here's Homeboy saying it, and I think we can play this. This will be all right. Unless they play it. Yeah, no, I don't want. They're gonna play an ad, and then I gotta deal with that. Anyway, this guy says it. The Flat Earth movement picked up steam in the sports world in February when Irving, then a star point guard on the Cavaliers, said that he believed the world was flat, which caused some headaches for science teachers around the world. Circumnavigation due east-west is easily possible in either a flat or globe model. You think they'd improve their arguments, man. Of note, Irving briefly attended Duke University. Irving recently said that he was only trolling everyone, and he was trolling everyone. Trolling somnambulistic globe cucks. But it's still not clear what he believes about the Earth's shape, because he wanted it that way, because you may not deserve his true words. I'll tell you what, if I kicked it with Kyrie and we had a juice, I'm well positive he'd be more than happy to share his beliefs with me. Anyway, Slay isn't the only NFL player who's a flat Earth truther, so is Rams receiver Sammy Watkins. I have an idea. One day, I mean, just the snarky narcopathia of people that have only been told where they are and what it is, and whom willingly denigrate and tear down philosophical freedom advocates whom pursue cosmological elasticity and whom are not calcified globe cucks drinking fluoride and watching Super Bowl ads so they can figure out what to buy because they don't have enough self-confidence to decide for themselves. say things like this. I have an idea. One day, Slay should practice against Watkins. Watkins should go deep against Slay, so deep that the two keep on running and running and running and running until they either run over the edge of this allegedly flat earth of theirs, or they make it back to their original starting point. Well, let's back engineer our debunk here. It's, as I mentioned, due east-west circumnavigation on a flat model is equally possible. It's on a ball model. And as to his point about running over the edge, well, the model seems to be contained by a significant, back of the freezer amount of ice. We don't know how far south Antarctica goes. It seems to circumscribe the inner region. So you can't just run off the edge. And, ever since the peace treaty, you can't roll up into Antarctica with your flat earth hat and say that you want to be taken deep into the unknown regions. That will not be sanctioned by the UN, who incidentally has a flat earth logo as their flat earth map as their logo. It's a fun rabbit hole, guys. I hope you're enjoying your time. It is about fun. If we are happy and not angry, I think that our message will be received more clearly. Now, I do think there is a time for just aggression, and that aggression appears verbally and is a sign of passion, and that is healthy. Let's see, is there anything else? Reddit users want an edge of the world discovery show for flat earth truthers. This is just good press. All press is good press. No, I'm not hating Redditors. Otherwise, I'm going to get a bunch of pizzas sent to my fucking door. But with that said, and I also, from time to time, enjoy Reddit. They're fairly tech, sci, NASA disciples, just in a gross overgeneralization. And as such, it's not surprising they would get a thread going to kind of like giggle and snarkle over this idea. We're not covering that one. Space.com. Gotta love Space.com. Space.com, the #1 disinfo cosmological source. Astronauts to flat earthers, B.O.B. We've seen the curve. Well, we ain't seen no curvature all around this great big world. They told us that we lived on a sphere. Now it don't seem likely, 'cause we ain't seen no. We ain't seen no. NASA astronaut Terry Virts captured this view of the sun over Earth on his last day in space as he prepared to leave the International Space Station on June 11th, 2015. As far as the space station is concerned, an interesting route if you like metallurgy or chemistry. Look into what this ISS is made of. Look at the altitude that it's purportedly orbiting in. And then look at the range of the temperature at that altitude, and then look at the melting points of the metals that make the ISS. I know that's a big journey there. If you want to go through all that, you'll find some interesting results. Some former NASA astronauts have a message for Flat Earther B.O.B. The curve is real, and we've seen it. Last week, the Atlanta-based rapper kicked off a crowdfunding campaign to raise $1 million, ostensibly so he can build and launch one or more satellites to settle the question of the shape once and for all. This is pure gold, man. Space.com. Keep talking about it. Keep talking Flat Earth. Try to, point it out. Just debunk it, debunk it, debunk it, debunk it. With your fake photos, your fake photos, your fake photos. You know what happens? People start wondering why there's all this energy being expended on trying to debunk this thing. And if they don't, well, they never wanted to. Maybe they never would have. That's okay, too. Bob doubts the Earth is round. They mean sphere because the horizon looks pretty flat, very flat, in photos taken from the planet's surface and as far as 120,000 feet above it. That's a simple consequence of Earth's large size. Of course, there's no math here, right? So they don't say, oh, well, a sphere with a circumference of 25,000 miles should have approximately this much curvature over this many miles. And, you know, from this altitude, one would expect to see this much curvature. No, none of these articles, everything I've read, all these news, nobody ever covers it. It's just that old Neil Tyson, things always appear flat on objects that are really fucking big, you know, to little creatures who crawl upon it, because they want you to think you crawl. You know what crawls? Animals crawl. You know what's not an animal? A human. A human being is not an animal. Permit a spiritual insert here. I believe human beings are children of God. God to me is a word that describes benevolence, intelligence, and purpose. And so yeah, so the scientific narrative is you don't fucking matter. You came from shit that crawls. You can't fucking see because it's too fucking big. So go back and watch the Feelies. You know, Aldous Huxley's The Feelies. Just be distracted. Go listen to Trevor Noah. You know, go listen to fucking John Oliver. Go listen to Stephen Colbert. Gobble up your food for you and tell you how to think. Now, that would be an instance where I think like just a little bit of aggression and passion is suitable. You know, I'm not really mad at these people. It just feels good to be real and to have emotions. This plea elicited a response from former NASA astronaut Terry Virts. I could save B.O.B a lot of money. The Earth is round. I flew around it. I don't know why. It was like a southern, I don't know where that came from. I'm just feeling good. Virts tweeted Wednesday, September 27th, via his @AstroTerry account. All right, great. So here's this photo. Apparently there's the moon. The moon is purportedly 237,000 miles away. So apparently from this little curve here, which is obviously, in my opinion, Photoshop, and the moon, we can't see a single fucking star behind the moon. We don't see anything. You do see this fake satellite that looks like it's hanging from a rafter, in a fucking Hollywood set room. But you don't see any stars. And the reason you don't see stars is so that they can engineer an optical curve. And that's just the way it is. Burning, things will never be the same. All right, Buzz. So, Buzz, we already covered these people, but I came here because space.com did it. All press is good press. Thanks, space.com/38305-flat-earth-bob-nash-astronauts.html. We appreciate you. Anything else? CNN. Meh. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, so that's the newest kind of update. This came in on October 5th. Just want to underscore the Russian Emmy for Flat Earth. This guy's dope. That'll be the first link I leave below. Bless up and listen to Spiritual North.